My husband is out of town this weekend, so I always like to do some sort of household project while he's gone to surprise him when he gets back, but also so I don't get in his way when he's home. I found all these baskets at Marshall's and Ross and maybe TJ Maxx. I don't recommend that you buy your storage baskets without knowing exactly what you're going to put in them. But I have a little bit of a problem with that at the pre-planning stage, but this was only $4.99 and I got good deals on these and I knew that I would use them for something, so I've finally gotten around to what I'm going to use them for. This is my master bathroom toilet closet and I have this big blank wall. We have 9-foot ceilings, so it goes really high up. I'm going to put 3 wall-to-wall shelves in this space. I really love having this wrought iron paper towel holder beside the toilet so I can just clean the toilet, grab a paper towel and wipe it down and throw it away. But I'm going to have to move it because the shelves are 12 inches deep. The first thing I did was measure wall to wall and it was 46.5 inches, and I went to Lowe's and got 3 pieces of wood cut that were 46.5 inches wide and 12 inches deep. So 1 by 12 by 46.5. It is winter here in North Carolina and I really didn't want to go out in my freezing garage and set up my saw. So I just had Lowe's cut all of my wood the exact length that I asked them to. Here are all my wood pieces. There's 3 of the 46.5 inch pieces. And these are just cheap, like $1.25 for an 8-foot or 10-foot piece. So these are really cheap. Trim pieces, and I had them cut the same length as these so I could put them on the front to make the shelf look thicker. And then these are the mounting brackets, so they're going to go underneath the shelves on both sides for the shelves to sit on, and I just mount those to the walls. Right, these are 12 inches long because that's the depth of the shelf. I don't need to sand these because they're just going to be brackets, but I do need to make sure that these pieces are fairly smooth, so I'm going to do a light sanding on those. Alright, I'm using this little medium grit sponge sander. I'm just going to sand in the tub because it's so cold outside, and I can just wash that little bit of dust down the drain. Alright, so I've sanded 3 sides, 1, 2, 3 of this, and it's nice and smooth. See the difference? Here's the unsanded side. But that's not going to be seen because it's going to be attached to the shelf. But it's really going to make a difference when I go to stain this to have a nice smooth surface. So the sanding is important. Alright, it's time to remove this little bracket here. Don't hammer you? No. Okay, I won't hammer you. Really?
Playing with the horses.
You like horses, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a stud before. Unfortunately, I'm not in a stud now, so I had to attach these drywall anchors for the new spot. Now it's time to go in with the level where we want our shelves to be and mark the lines. I'm going to start right here, make sure it's level. Now that I've got that line drawn, I'm going to put the level on this wall so that I can make it over to the other wall. Alright. Okay, all the way to the other wall. And okay, now that we've got our level line drawn on all 3 walls, I've got to decide how much space I want between the shelves. So I'm going to go grab a basket and just make sure there's enough clearance above it for the next shelf. Looks like my line measures 13 inches, so I'm going to do 13 inches above to make the 3rd shelf. I'm going to take a level and mark that line and that line up there. We've got all 3 lines marked on the long wall. We're going to take our level and go mark the side walls like we did the first one. This is like the easiest project you can possibly do. We're ready to put these 2 brackets on the side walls, and then we'll be able to slide in our shelves. So I had to put this project on hold last night because I didn't have the right size screws for the mounts. I only had like 1¼ inch, and that wasn't quite enough to go through the wood and the sheetrock and be secure enough. These are going to be pretty heavy shelves, 1x12s, so they need a nice secure screw. So I found these 1 5/8 inch self-drilling drywall screws, and they're great because you don't have to pre-drill. And so I'm going to make sure you use a stud finder to find your studs, because it's important that at least one of these screws be in a stud. There's one. And we're going to go ahead and mark that spot with a pencil. We'll go ahead and mark all 3 of these brackets for this wall where we want our screws to go. I love you too. I think it's easiest to go ahead and screw these in when they're on a horizontal surface, so you have something to press down on. And then you can take them to the wall, and it's much easier.
Judy, I love you.
Are those good blueberries?
Yeah.
Let's take these guys to the wall. One more screw. And we're done with that side. Same on the other side. Right, now we are ready to slide our shelves in. Yay! Alright, so this first shelf went in okay, but I ran into problems with the second and third shelf. Apparently, this room is not perfectly square, and so when I was hammering the shelf in with the rubber mallet, I kind of tore up the sheetrock. I'm going to have to fix that, and I'm going to have to take these boards out to the garage and trim them up a little bit. Thankfully, it's a lot warmer today. Okay, so I'm just going to shave a little bit off the corner here. Each one of those. Fortunately, I got this cute little tool for Christmas, so I don't have to pull out the giant circular saw. Alright, now we've got all 3 shelves slid in. They are not attached. And now it's time to go back in with this trim piece. We're just going to attach this to the front with 1 1/4 finishing nails to give it a more substantial look. It'll look more like a 2x12 rather than a 1x12. Okay, all 3 shelves are trimmed out. These boards were a little bit warped, so I ended up using these screws because the finishing nails were just not strong enough to hold. But that's okay, because I want kind of a rustic farmhouse look, so I'm going to stain these a dark stain. Alright, I got all 3 shelves stained. Instead of using a traditional stain, I used Bry Wax, which I really like because instead of having to put polyurethane on top, you get this nice shine by just taking a rag or cloth and buffing. See how shiny it is? Alright, now to get to the fun part. Putting everything on the shelves. And here is our finished shelving unit. Hand towels and washcloths and books we want to read. Grab a book and have a seat. All my makeup bags that tend to get so unorganized. All kinds of storage. I really like how it turned out. I hope my husband likes it.